Greetings YouTube! I'm trying something a little bit different. Actually, I was doing some sewing on here and I couldn't be bothered to lower the desk. It goes up and down, you know. First time I've ever recorded a video like this so you can see the kind of crap that's normally above the camera level. Anyway, I haven't been particularly well of late over the past few days, hence all the stuff like Lemsip and whatnot. I've had a cold and past couple of days I've just been I've been dead on my feet at work because I haven't been getting sleep. So I'm finally feeling better though, but my cold is slightly hanging around, so if my voice is a bit weird, that's why. I've been making a note of all the things I've been done. I've finally figured out that there's an inventory sort system. I mean, I've got that many things in the item hanger now. It's like I need some quick and easy way of being able to sort through them, and the standard ways weren't working for me. I've finally discovered how to narrow it down to blueprint copies, blueprint originals. You can select different ones now. So that's just hybrid ammunition. I was thinking to myself for ages, this inventory system is just like an all-in-one. It needs folders, it needs a filing system. It turns out you can actually do that if you put a freight container in the station inventory. The container itself acts as storage space and allows you to subdivide your stuff up. So I've got all this stuff in it at the moment in my valuables container. So that was a nice discovery that I made. Wormhole classes. Ages and ages ago I made a video back when I was first starting. I said exploring a class 5 wormhole. I'm not so sure it was class 5. You have to look at the wormhole from inside wormhole space and check its code number against these letters and 3 numbers in this left hand column to find out actually what class of wormhole space, because it doesn't just tell you. Gas harvesting. Wow, I mean the skill is bloody expensive to buy, but once you've bought it, it's yours. The gas harvesters are expensive as well. But good God, the gases are really, they bring in a load of money. Because I've been mining dense Velspar from asteroids for bloody ages. And that's all I've been doing. One haul from the Venture is like something like 650,000 credits. One haul from even the lowest value gas is something like 15 million. My skill, that training skill, paid for it in one run because some of the gases yield about 30 million apiece. And I did 2 runs in one. You know what I mean? There's some serious money. People keep on telling me that the wormholes are where you earn your money. I now have a Caldari battle cruiser. I've had this for about a week. I quite like it. I'm still getting used to the fact that I can't lock on very quickly, or turn very quickly, or accelerate very quickly, or shoot things particularly easily, because it uses medium turrets. I'm still trying to kind of get a feel for how to pilot. You kind of have to, I think you have to kind of pilot in the same direction as them, and it improves your chances of hitting them back, because their angular velocity to you is relatively low if you do that. Little tricks like that. So I'm still getting to grips with it. And as you can see, I've got a fair few more Amar ships. I've gotten to Amar cruiser class, and I appreciate that Amar ships are not a natural training angle to take from Caldari, because shields, armor, hybrid turrets, energy turrets, they've got different E-War systems as well. Not that I've done a right lot with them, but I like these ships more than I thought I would. Right, the main reason that I'm doing this video though is I want to tell you a little story about something that happened to me a few days ago before this cold hit me. And it was a spur of the moment thing, so I didn't record it, I'm afraid. So you're just going to have to, I mean, those of you who have been in EVE, you'll know what it looks like in any case, so it's very easy for you to picture it in your own minds. But I wanted a blueprint original for a Venture, because both of my Ventures have recently been destroyed. After a bit of searching around online, I discovered that blueprints are only found in the region that is related to the builders of the blueprint, of the thing that you're looking for. So there's a reason that I was able to get blueprint originals from NPCs for Caldari ships in Caldari space. It's because that's where they're supposed to be. If you want Amar blueprint originals from the NPCs, you have to go to Amar space to find them. And I wasn't aware of this at first. And because I wanted a Venture blueprint, that means I had to track down the Outer Ring Excavation faction, or the Ore faction. So there is a map, and if you type in Outer Ring, you can check to see where they are. And there is their, like, cluster. There's their network of star systems. And it's all the way over there. If you want to find one of their space stations, there's one there. I believe that's the nearest. Yeah, those two are over there. So if you set destination, woo, 29 jumps. And about half of it is through a bunch of red systems. Through null space, I believe the term is. It's very weird. You don't go from high sec to low sec to null space. It just goes high sec, null space. The security rating just plummets off a cliff in one system. But that's where I had to go if I wanted a blueprint original from the NPC vendor. Now, I admit it would have been a damn sight easier to just go to a vendor in Jitter and buy one off of those guys. But I wanted to see if I could get my hands on the originals. And I've never journeyed this far. I've never gone this far before. I thought, if nothing else, it would be a learning experience. I did not take an expensive ship. I simply called up a bog standard free Corvette. So if it exploded, I didn't lose anything. If it exploded en route, who cares? I started jumping away from the home systems, got to around here-ish. So I jumped away from these locations, and when I went past this system, this is officially as far as I've gone before. And I was jumping away from these systems further and further out, and getting a bit nervy. Because there's a few players dotted around, but most of them are going in and out of the Stargates, you know. Some of them, you come out of a Stargate and you've got 60 seconds of cloaking. And then the cloaking fails and you're at everyone's mercy. But nobody bothered me. Until I started to warp away. Excuse me. I started to warp away from one Stargate after the cloaking. And I was starting to align. And the Corvette aligns pretty quickly, and as I started to jump away, I heard an alarm beep. It went beep, beep. Like, what was that? One at players near the Stargate had just tried to lock onto me. I don't know why. Because I'm in a Corvette in high security space. And I don't have any precious cargo on board, so why are you locking onto me? Anyway, it's only going to get him in trouble. I'm not going to lose anything. So I did have that close call, bit nervy. And then I got to down here. The security rating goes from 0.7 to minus 0.4. And you enter syndicate space. I have no idea, even now, I didn't look it up, but I had no idea what the syndicate was. Or even if it was named after that faction. I assume it was. But I went in there anyway. I thought, if I explode, they'll pod me. And NPCs don't attack pods. Players do, but NPCs don't. So I'm jumping through some of these systems, and most of them don't even have bad guys on them. But some of them do, and they're all red. All red. NPCs, hostile. And I'm jumping past them, the Stargates. They're obviously not retreating. They're orbiting the Stargate. So they're not going anywhere. And every time I align to warp from the gate and zoom, none of them bother me. And I'm warping past group of NPCs after group of NPCs, hostile NPCs, and none of them pay any attention to me. I mean, granted, that's probably because I'm zipping past them from cloak out of the gate. And I'm zipping to the next gate, and as soon as I arrive at the next gate, it's like, zoom, gone to the next star system. So they're not getting an opportunity to... Well, NPCs in this game, they're a bit slow. You know what I mean? It's the players you've got to watch out for. Low security space, you've really got to be careful. But this is nullsec. It's like, there's nobody here. I can only assume that because it's held by the Syndicate and the Outer Ring Excavation factions, the NPC factions, that the players have absolutely no interest in having a presence here. So there's the odd bunch of red NPCs and no players. And the NPCs don't pay any attention to me. I finally arrive at the station. I look at the station's guest register. Oh, there's one person here besides me. Oh no, wait, that is me. The one guest was me. I was the only person there. Do any players visit these systems at all? I know I only ran through this route twice. Once there and once back. But does anybody frequent these areas? Let me know down below because I'm genuinely curious. So anyway, I get to this star system and I finally find the original blueprints. This is where the blueprint originals for the Ventures and all of the ore ships come from. When a player puts, because it turns out the players can put blueprint originals up on the marketplace. I didn't know this, but they have to be pristine. They can't have any enhancements on them. I want one of the original blueprints, so it's about 2.8 million. Let's call it 3 million. Let's call it 3 million. Let's round up. I'm looking at my bank balance. I'm looking at my ship. I'm looking at the fact that nobody has bothered me the entire route. I'm looking at the blueprints and my cash bank balance, and I'm looking at everything. I'm thinking to myself, I could probably afford to buy 10 of these quite easily. Cost me about 28 million in total. You know what? If I get blown up en route, I'll just write it off, chalk it up to experience. Again, the ship is pointless. The ship is valueless. It's free, for crying out loud. I'm in a Corvette. So I think to myself, I'll take the chance. I bought 10 blueprints. 28 million credits. I'll keep one, sell the other 9. Just as an experiment. So I leave the station. I start jumping back through these star systems. Again, the NPCs completely ignore me. They just don't bother. I jump from one gate to the next. They're completely oblivious until I get to about here. I jump into the system, I jump across it, I get to the next gate, and as I'm approaching the next gate, I almost jump out, one of the NPCs gets a lock. He doesn't even start locking onto me, he just locked. Instant. I think, please don't shoot me, please don't shoot me, please don't shoot me, please don't shoot me. For some reason he didn't. I don't know if he shot at me or what. I don't know if he took a shot and missed or he didn't bother firing. He was 21 kilometers away. I thought to myself, I've got to be in fucking range. I just have to be. It felt like I was sat there for like 7 seconds waiting for my ship to warp out. It was probably only 1 second. But my ship, zoom, made it out. It didn't hit me. Most nerve-wracking part of this game I have ever been in so far. That is the most nervous I've ever been. So I keep on jumping through these star systems. One close call from the NPCs. And finally I hop back into high security space, back into the green. And I think to myself, now I'm probably fucked. Because so far the NPCs have been a pushover. And there have been no players along that red line. Now I'm back in high security space. In a really easy to destroy Corvette. With 30 million credits worth of loot in the back. Yeah. I thought the last bit was nerve-wracking. So I start jumping back through the systems. I'm at 14 here. Remember, this whole trip has been 29 jumps, so 14 jumps to home. I start jumping back through the systems. 13, 12, 11, 10. I missed one. 9, 8. I don't know where it happened. I honestly don't. I came out of one of the stargates. 4 players. All around, not like they were in a bit of a cluster near the gate. They weren't surrounding it, but they were near it. Cloaking timer, 60 seconds. I zoom in on their ships. They're not moving. Which means that I have run into the odd player warping between these stargates. Well, I've run into the odd player. But they've always been going towards the stargate or away from it, or have been a cargo ship. You don't bother with cargo ships. Those guys don't even have guns. What are they going to do? Fly into me? But these 4, they're right near the gate. And they're just sat there. And the cloaking timer is counting down. 50 seconds. Well, this isn't good. Because as soon as I click on the next gate to warp to it, I have to decloak. So I'm sat there thinking to myself, 40 seconds, I'm sat there panicking, thinking to myself, if I decloak, they are going to attack me. Do you know what? If I wait for long enough, 30 seconds, if I wait for long enough, maybe, just maybe, some other players will turn up. And in the confusion, I can leg it. It's pretty much the only thing I can do. 20 seconds. I'm sat there, waiting. The timer's almost up. It's at like 15 seconds at this point. Another player ship arrives from a distance at the gate. I'm thinking to myself, should I take it? Oh, should I? Or should I chance it? Another 2 appear. I think, I'm not going to get a better chance than this. I click on warp out of there. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed and thinking to myself, please don't notice me. Please notice them. I have no idea what happened. My ship went boom and shot off to the next stargate. I still have no idea if they were pirates or not. I'm just going to assume they were, and that was a fucking close call. But I got out of there. I can't rely on that kind of thing though. I can't run the risk of doing that again. So after having almost suffered complete heart failure on that bit, I keep on jumping. 8, 7, 6. Again, 30 million credits in the back of a really vulnerable ship. 5, 4, 3. And at that point I relax. Because at this, so close to home, no one's ever... The only time I've ever been even remotely threatened, and it wasn't much of a threat, from another player is flying into jitter. And this route doesn't send you through jitter. 3 star systems ago, I thought, I'm home free. 3, 2, 1, home. Again, more cause for heart failure. Whew. The most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done in this entire game. 29 jumps. I dare say a fair few people have done jumps that are way longer. But they probably know what they're fucking doing. I had no idea what I was doing here. This was a spur of the moment thing. So I paid just under 3 million credits from Adventure. Proper original blueprints. I took one out for my own personal use, and I took the remaining 9 to Jitter in my new battle cruiser, and I was rather disappointed to learn that some people had put about 43 of the things up on the marketplace already for 4 million. Which means I had to put mine up for 3.8 million to get rid of them. So I only made 1 million credits worth of profit on each one. 9 million credits of profit. Was it worth it for that long trip? No, it fucking wasn't. I know it wasn't. That said, there are some more ore ship blueprints, and a lot of them are a hell of a lot more valuable than the ones that I just transported for just shy of 3 million. I can see myself being able to make, excuse me, a much bigger profit with the other blueprints. But my nerves are fucking shot to hell. And now, of course, I'm telling everybody I've done this. And so you can bet your ass that some arsehole is going to camp out along the route. Don't worry, I'm not going to make a habit out of this. Jesus Christ. But, yeah. It was a learning experience. I learned a few things. One, that for some weird reason, high security space was more stressful than the null security. And two, that there are no players in Syndicate or space. There are some of these null security systems where there's no one there. And if you're in a fast enough ship, you can bypass the NPCs. So yeah. That was the story I wanted to tell. Sorry I didn't get any footage of it, but I didn't expect to actually do it. I fully expect that there will be other stories. People say that this game doesn't have a story, but the players make the stories. Well, now I've got one of my own. I thought it best to record it, so that I don't forget about it in a hurry. I won't. Not after the stress. I'm going to stop wittering now. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe and share, all that jazz. See you next time.